A 50-degree day in Denver, and Tracy Wolfson is down on the sidelines. Tracy, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. Thanks a lot, Jim. It's definitely a change for Peyton Manning, suiting up as the backup. He had to alter his routine. He came out here way earlier than normal, threw around with the coaches, just tried to get some reps in, tried to get loose. Also expect to see him on the bench alongside with quarterback Brock Osweiler and quarterbacks coach Greg Knapp, fully involved like the backup. And just to keep in mind, Gary Kubiak did not alter his routine. He kept just 2 quarterbacks active, which means that if Osweiler gets banged up, it is Peyton Manning who will go in. Jim?
Yeah, he's not 100%, as Tracy was talking about, but got 3 full days of practice. Got to be an awkward situation for him.
He's first time he's really practiced, Jim, and going on 8 weeks. To think that he would be ready to come out here and start the game, that is just not realistic. So the fact that he got to practice a little this week, that gives him much more hope in case something does happen to Brock Osweiler, like Tracy Wolfson said, that he can come in there and run the plays.
Lambeau boots it almost into the stands, and Brock Osweiler comes out now for his 7th start. 4-2 as a starter. In the 2 losses, the Broncos actually held double-digit leads before dropping those affairs to the Raiders and then at Pittsburgh. Schofield, the right tackle, we'll keep an eye on him because there have been some issues there. Melvin Ingram expected to be challenging him today. Thomas had a touchdown in the first matchup against San Diego, which was played back on December the 6th, the 17-3 Denver victory.
Defensive backs a problem for San Diego, so what does the Denver Bronco offense do? Come out with 5 wide receivers.
And Osweiler has an open target. It's Hillman. And Hillman tiptoes down the sideline and marked out of bounds at about the 28. Pushed out by Dupree. San Diego's defense under John Pagano, they stepped it up here the last 4 weeks. Matthews making a lot of plays. Very strong linebacking core. I mentioned Ingram, 8 sacks over the last 8 games. And Phillips steps in at safety. Eric Weddle put on IR this week. 2nd and 2. And another completion. This one to Thomas. And he got away from the defender, and it's still going as he hurdles past another Charger and takes it to the end zone for a touchdown. "72 yards he escaped. Dupree and a tie. He was never out of bounds, the officials say. And Thomas has a touchdown, his longest play of the season.
Well, Jason Verrett, one of the best corners in football, not in this game today, probably would have been on Demaryius Thomas in that situation. But such a big key for this offense to get him started, to get him confident. They've been missing it. And, man, do his legs look fresh and fast going down the field.
He's very close to stepping out and waiting for the confirmation on the touchdown.
That was one of my keys today to the game for this Denver offense. Make sure you get Demaryius Thomas involved early. I think they did that.
Check this out right here, Phil. Watch his right foot.
Looks like it's in.
Ruling on the field of a completed catch and a touchdown is under review.
Ronald Torbert. He'll check it out before it's confirmed. Boy, it's close at the 45 as he tries to make a cut on 52. Perriman. Here comes right here. Right there.
So close.
After review, the ruling on the field stands for touchdown.
That's Thomas's first 50-yard plus reception in over 190 receptions.
I thought they would let it stand because I've just watched so many games. Unless it's really clear cut, they're not going to overrule the call on the field. So I thought that was a good call by the officials.
Well, it only took 2 plays for the Broncos to go the 80 yards. 72 on that play to Demaryius Thomas. McManus adds the extra point. 31 seconds into the game. Riding on all that emotion they got before this one even got started, with the added excitement here in Denver. The news coming down and being played, in fact, on the giant screen here. Miami's defeat of New England.
we didn't even have to watch the game. We could just sit here and listen to the crowd. And the crowd was so into watching the New England game. And, of course, all the questions. Peyton Manning, he's the backup this week. Oh, shouldn't he start or whatever? I never thought that was even a question. I knew Brock Osweiler would after all these weeks and everything. But then for Brock Osweiler, 2 for 2, 80 yards and a touchdown. Confidence, it just continues to grow in him, to himself, and, of course, the people around him.
What did you make of the Patriots losing for the 4th time in their last 6 games?
Well, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm shocked, because they set so many players today, key people to their football team. And here's what I took out of it. I took out the Patriots were more worried about keeping their team healthy than maybe they were just trying to keep that #1 seed. Well, of course, they'd like both. But
if it works out this way, where Denver wins, that would knock New England to the 2, and if they did eventually meet in the AFC Championship game, what a vast difference. We've seen so many and called so many of the Denver-New England matchups through the years, but to have New England here versus Denver having to go there, for Bronco fans, it's an enormous difference.
Absolutely.
Got another update, though. James Brown having a very busy day in New York.
All right, Jim, a high-scoring affair, but New York comes out on the losing end. After the game, most of the questions centered around Tom Coughlin's future.
No one has decided anything. Where do the reports come from? Did you get initials? Did you get some initials?
Anybody got anything else?
Thank you.
And that's what you would have expected. Coughlin walking away. Back to Jim Nance.
Hey, I'm glad to hear him say that, because it was widely reported on every website today that he was going to step down after the game today. And it was totally not on Coughlin's mind to do that. Here's the handoff to Donald Brown for 2. And Phillip Rivers, 160th straight start. That's 10 seasons without a miss.
Well, you know, Phillip Rivers loves the playoff atmosphere, and he kind of stoked the fire a little bit this week, didn't he? He goes, I want to go in there and play. I want this to be Denver's last home game. So you know Gary Kubiak and the coaching staff told all the players all the things that Phillip Rivers said.
What did you make of Coughlin's comments?
The typical Tom Coughlin, just what I expect from him. A lot of reports, no substance to it.
2nd and 8. Woodhead is open in the flat. He's got a first down. He's the top receiver out of the backfield in the entire league this year, and he picks up 11 with that one. This offensive line has been an issue all season long, and more injuries to deal with today. Orlando Franklin's out at left guard, so you see they've had to make a move there. Kenny Wiggins moves in. Malcolm Floyd, this is his final game, retiring after this one today. Hugely popular player in the locker room in San Diego.
And the community, and a leader. The team's honored him this week. And
here's a reverse. And it's Herndon. And he's finally tripped up by Stewart. But it picks up 13. Couple nice plays here by San Diego on his first possession. Unsung heroes for Wade Phillips' defense. We'll talk more about Malik Jackson and Derek Wolfe. Marshall, who had been questionable during the week with an ankle, he is up, and he's their leading tackler. TJ Ward's also been nursing an injury, but came back last week off an ankle sprain. He might be on a snap count here today. Play action, and Rivers has the time to launch it deep, and it's over everyone's head in the area of Dontrell Inman.
well, what they're going to do today, first off, a good start. You said it. A big play, then a reverse. Only 2 receivers go out. They got to look for big plays down the field, and Phillip Rivers still takes a big hit, even though he has extra protection in there. Shane Ray, number 56, first-round draft pick, is really coming on for this Denver defense, turning into a force, just like Von Miller, Shaq Barrett, DeMarcus Ware, rushing the quarterback from the outside.
Yeah, they got 4 big ones on the edges, that's for sure. And the give is to Brown for a couple into the arms of Todd Davis. Well, Phillip Rivers, we saw this Charger team lose another one in the end in overtime on Christmas Eve night in Oakland to drop to 4-11. And you wonder, how can they come back and reinvent themselves one more time? And Phillip certainly had the answers to that.
Listen, you know, oh boy, Harrison left tackle down.
And Philip going on and on about you're a pro. You sign up for 16 games. We got a chance to keep Denver out of that top spot now. That's what he's thinking. We'll step aside for a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost. And by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer.
Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by MetLife. Tyreek Burwell, a rookie out of the University of Cincinnati, has come in. The Chargers and this offensive line has been reworked so many different ways and combinations during the season. Hairston was battling an ab injury coming in, and he went down 75 on that last play. King Dunlap was already inactive. Orlando Franklin, the former Bronco, and their usual starting left guard, not back from a concussion. They both were inactive. So you've got new faces and new places, and you've got that incredible speed rush of the Broncos ready to pounce. It's 3rd and 8. And Rivers, though, gets it to Gates for a first down. And that line held up pretty good. 13 yards on that play.
Excellent job. They crushed everybody inside, and you got Antonio Gates, probably the #1 weapon today for the San Diego offense, along with Danny Woodhead, both to me, in the passing game. Got him matched up against the safety. That's the one you want. Philip Rivers took advantage of it.
Slips through a little opening to the 36 for a 4-yard carry. A Bronco win would give Denver the #1 seed in the AFC playoffs. And Kansas City, which is already qualified for the playoffs, no matter what it does today, if Denver wins, Kansas City would be the 5. But if Denver loses and Kansas City wins, and the Chiefs already have a touchdown on the board, then Kansas City would move up to a 3 seed, host a game on Wild Card Week, and Denver next week would play on the road as a 5 at Houston.
You know, could you say that again?
But it's starting to at least get a little more clarity.
We're getting a little idea. Derek Wolfe, number 95, shaking up on the play. Been so key to what they're doing this year, and Peyton Manning telling Brock Osweiler what information they gathered out of those first couple plays and what you would expect. Hey, Peyton Manning knows his Denver Broncos the San Diego defense well. John Pagano, the defensive coordinator, they've matched wits many, many times, so he can be great help to Brock Osweiler on the sideline today.
Woodhead at the top of the screen, split wide on 2nd and 6. There's a dump-off pass to Brown. Try to go outside on Ware. It's a little extra yardage. Gets around the edge for 4.
Pick plays, screens, reverses. You do everything. All these things. The big reason you want to do it, Jim, the Broncos I think they're the fastest defense in the NFL when you count all 11 guys over there. So you got to find ways to slow them down. That's why you run those type of plays we've seen here in the first drive.
This Wade Phillips defense is #1 in so many categories this year. #1 overall, #1 against the pass, #1 in sacks. But the Chargers have picked up 3 first downs on this opening possession for San Diego. And now on a 3rd and 2. Pass was behind Woodhead, incomplete. They're going to go field goal.
Thought for sure, since they make no pretense of running the football, but Woodhead's going to go across. He's against Trevathan. He's got him open, and Philip Rivers just missed him. Those are plays. These crossing plays against this Denver defense, it's Achilles' heel. That's the toughest thing for them to cover. We saw it right away from San Diego's offense.
It's going to be a 50-yard attempt for Josh Lambo. 24 out of 30. And he drills that one right into the net, dead center. Mike McCoy cheering on his team, putting up 3 on its first possession of the game. Never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play and score, game and highlight, right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now at cbssports.com/mobile. So Lambeau drilled the opening kickoff right up against the first row of the stands, and then boots a 50-yard field goal. And there's another long one. At practice on Friday, Peyton Manning was running the scout team.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say that and to watch it, but I'll just say this. Of course, I watched everything and kept my eyes on him, and I was surprised. I thought he moved around very well. Didn't see any signs. I'm looking for a little limp with the foot, all that stuff. Didn't see it. Threw the football, controlled it very well, threw it, so all signs of him getting healthy and getting more ready to play were there after what I watched Friday in practice.
And again, this today being the first time in his storied career he's ever been in a game, dressed for a game as a backup. As the flag flies, Hillman rushes it out for about 13, but we'll check the yellow marker at the line of scrimmage.
Like Kendall Reyes jumped off sides.
Offside. Defense. Number 91. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
So Reyes jumped, but the Hillman carry will stand. And Peyton with the all-time record numbers, 71,000 plus, the 539 career touchdown passes in the season of just 2 years ago. Over 5,400 yards, the record, plus the 55 touchdown passes in a year. Early contact, bouncing off of it is Hillman. And that's no gain. Perriman finishes him off.
Jim, just to talk about this game a little bit, San Diego's defense, it's explosive enough. Just like I said in the opening, it gives them a chance. In other words, they got pass rushers, they got speed at linebacker. That front seven can make some plays to get the chance to win this game.
Anderson, when he got the handoff, that whole right side had been cleared by Schofield and Daniels, and it's a 10-yard gain.
San Diego was not ready. The quick snap caught him off guard. And this I'll say about C.J. Anderson, he is playoff ready. He's healthy, fresh, powerful, everything that this offense needs. We saw some great cuts against the Bengals last week.
And here he is again, right into the arms of Teo. Well, same story last year, really, come November. Anderson got his chance, and he was the top performer over the last 2 months of the regular season.
He's a playoff runner. You see the legs, they're big, he's thick, he runs with a wide base, he runs heavy, he breaks tackles, and like I've said many times, there's a big difference between 2nd and 8 and 2nd and 6 in the NFL.
Well, it's 2nd and 7 here. Osweiler has an open man. It's Sanders, and he's sprinting to the 10 and down at the 5. Ball comes out at the end. Belongs to the Chargers. Recovered by Steve Williams.
Tremendous route by Sanders. Steve Williams stays with it. Brock Osweiler under pressure gets it out there. Big turnover.
How about Williams? He got beat, but then he comes back and just takes the ball right out of his hands.
That describes San Diego's football team.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by USAA. Join us at salutetoservice.com. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Beautiful conditions up at Steamboat, about an hour away, and all through the Rockies. A lot of powder over in neighboring Utah, Deer Valley and Park City as well. This was a 47-yard pass play. Sanders beats Williams, but watch Williams come back, Phil, and take the ball away from him.
Yep, never give up on a play. It was a tremendous route by Sanders, but you said it, the hustle by Williams makes the play.
Straight ahead, that's the handoff to Brown for giving nice run for about 6, maybe 7. Actually, going to mark him back at the 10, so a gain of 5. Mike McCoy, his 3rd year, a former offensive coordinator here in Denver for 4 years. After years of 9-7 and 9-7, injury-riddled year, team comes into this one at 4-11, 2nd and 5. Quick hit on him right away is Wolf. knocks down Brown for a loss of 1.
Yeah, it's going to be hard just to line up and think. Coming from the right side, you'll see 95. To think you're just going to go inside, overpower this defensive front, which is strong, which is deep, and they are fast. It's an unbelievable combination.
I said in the starting lineups, Wolf and Jackson, unsung heroes of this defense.
Absolutely. Even caught Wade Phillips by surprise because they're impact players, not just guys taking up space so the linebackers and the pass rushers can get there.
3rd and 6. Here they come after Rivers. Pass a little too steep, intended for Inman, and he had to get rid of it in a hurry.
Just like the first time they played weeks ago, the pocket, the offensive line, look how fast they are backpedaling. It's a beat-up offensive line. DeMarcus Ware on the outside. Oh, boy. He's healthy. Wade Phillips said his best week of practice was this past week in a long time. So just one more pass rusher to worry about.
As Cypress with a punt that gets a huge rollout. I mean, that got over 25 yards off the bounce.
Yep, the little in-between hop.
And Cypress limps to the sideline. He was injured on that punt that ends up traveling 56 yards. Today's Next Gen Stats presented by Esurance, auto and home insurance for the modern world and the modern metropolis, the mile-high city of Denver, which could be the host city for the AFC Championship game. If they win here today, they'd have the 1 seed. And if they could win in the divisional round, they would, in fact, host. Well, that plays out. Here's Osweiler. He's hit his first 3 passes for big yardage. And that's his first incompletion. Headed toward Demaryius Thomas.
Well, you know, Jim, I want to talk about Brock Osweiler real quick. We talked to Gary Kubiak, and I said, I think he played his best game of the year. Gary Kubiak basically just said, absolutely. When I watched the game, he made one bad decision and maybe one throw that he could have hit. Now, I don't know what's that thing called, the QBR, whatever all that is.
Yeah.
All I know is if you had it, it was really high. He played extremely well against the Bengals.
He had a couple of great throws. Really had what looked like 2 game-winning
throws. You're right.
Against Cincinnati. They had this field goal. Had to come back and win it all over again. Here he throws now across the middle, and it's incomplete. As that was intended for Latimer. You, a moment ago, by the way, saw Hairston being carted off to the San Diego locker room. Questionable return at abdominal injury that he was suffering coming in. Left him questionable even entering the game.
Right.
Re-aggravated. We're not sure he'll return. There's King Dunlap, the left tackle who's inactive today, out with an ankle.
That was a drop pass before. Osweiler put a little heat on it.
Faces a 3rd and 10. That pass. Precision throw to Thomas.
A couple things you see on the play. First, Demaryius Thomas, just like we saw in practice on Friday, just looks like he's back to being 100% healthy. He's big, he's fast, tough to play one-on-one down the field.
Yeah, he's got over 100 catches on the season. But he had a lot of drops that had people shaking their heads.
Well,
points during the season.
That's why you get him the ball early. Get his confidence going and then keep those drops maybe from happening.
Anderson breaking tackles and doing a lot of hard work in the middle of the field. Gain of 6.
You could see it on that run. Just watch his feet, how he gets the base to get wide apart, planned like that. And that's what you see. And I had a chance just to briefly talk to him off the practice field. And he goes, yep, my legs, my ankle, my toe, everything, it doesn't hurt. So it must be a great thing for a running back in the NFL to feel healthy.
2nd and 4, and Fowler is within a yard of the first. Gain of 3 with that one. Reminder, Tuesday on CBS, NCIS and NCIS New Orleans. They're going to team up for a special 2-hour crossover event. Don't miss it, Tuesday starting at 8/7 Central only. CBS.
You know, the other thing, we talk about injuries so much in the NFL. The Broncos this week had 53-man roster on the practice field.
First time since September 24th they had everybody on the practice field. 3rd and 1. That pass intercepted. Should have been caught. That's Steve Williams, who had the fumble recovery earlier in the quarter. Now has his second pick of the season. 2 takeaways by Williams. This bounced off the hands of Norwood. The pass was there. Maybe a little too much heat. Here's a tip of the cap to Darryl Stuckey, the Chargers United Way spokesman and Play 60 Challenge ambassador, and David Bruton Jr. of the Broncos, who's donated over 1,000 books for summer reading and has personally donated over $26,000 to the Mile High United Way. They are the nominees for the Chargers and Broncos for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide. And there will be an announcement in January of the 3 finalists, and then ultimately the winner will be named on the NFL Honors Show February 6th on CBS.
Well, 3 possessions by the Broncos, and you look at it and you think, man, they'd have 3 scores, but only 7 points on the board. 2 turnovers, like you said, Jim.
Manages a yard out of that. JB and Boomer have an update on the Chiefs and Raiders.
Hey, Jim, KC doing his part to try to win the West.
That's right. Spencer Ware, 3-yard TD run. This comes after a Jeremy Maclin touchdown reception. Chiefs lead the Oakland Raiders 14-0.
Jim Nance, Phil Simms, and Tracy Wolfson.
Well, we saw Oakland win last week against this San Diego bunch. Thought they'd put up a pretty good fight trying to get back to 500, but a hot start by the Chiefs. Here's Woodhead. Across the middle and tackled about a foot shy of the first, as Kansas City out of that highlight trying to win for the 10th game in a row.
Really incredible what they've done. Offense, very creative. Andy Reid, give him a lot of credit what he's done. Defense really been the key to me when you talk about Kansas City. But that last play here in this game, Phillip Rivers caught it, threw it, had it for about 0.5 seconds. And, of course, he knows the status of his offensive line. And the first thing that came out of his mouth when we talked to him, got to get rid of the football quick. He knows the situation. Doing a good job so far.
Trying to get it on the ground, and Brown, he found that little opening, and he's going to have the first. The interception, we're going to break. I mentioned that pass may have had a little too much heat on it, was off the hands of Norwood.
And you were right.
Yep.
It was. We're going to show it in slow motion just so you can see it and get an idea. Even though it hits Norwood right there, it got to him so fast. When you see it full speed, you can barely see the football. So Brock Osweiler, early in the game, you're excited. Short throws, you got to have just the right amount of speed on it. That time I thought he threw it too hard.
Chargers came in with only 15 takeaways the whole year. They get 2 in the first quarter. And now they get a big gallop for about 7, maybe 8 by Donald Brown, running behind DJ Fluker.
Well, you watch the fullback. There he comes, missed him. David Johnson, nice block on Trevathan. That's what springs Donald Brown for the extra yards. David Johnson, a fullback, moving tight end, does a little bit of everything.
They've got 3 tight ends along with Johnson and Gates. John Phillips on 2nd and 2. And Brown tries to make a cut, and he's backing up for a loss of 2. Darian Stewart got to him.
Sideways is the wrong way when you play Denver's defense. Everybody, like we said, can run. The safeties, Darian Stewart, TJ Ward, it doesn't matter who it is. They're all aggressive and they attack. Good example right there by Darian Stewart.
Makes it a 3rd and 4.
You play this Denver defense, really what's appropriate. You need a big power runner. Melvin Gordon, their #1 draft pick, of course, on IR for the rest of the year.
Timeout San Diego. As you look at the nearby Rocky Mountain Range, Wednesday on CBS, don't miss the biggest names in movies, music, and TV. Jane Lynch hosts the People's Choice Awards live Wednesday at 9/8 Central, only CBS. Barksdale needed to get a little extra time. He had a flat on his shoe. Their right tackle, 3rd and 4.
It's a big foot.
And this is a big throw to Gates, and it's knocked out of his hands by Stewart. So many times you've seen Antonio come down with that one.
Well, we know he's an ex-basketball player in college, and they got what they want. Once again, it's one-on-one, but Rivers, under a little pressure, just underthrows it. They put Gates and Danny Woodhead on the same side. They got the matchups they want. The throw was just short.
Offense is still out here. And 4th and 4, and a timeout called by the Broncos, who were not really ready for that. And let's take a look at next-gen stats presented by Esurance. And when you look at the number of plays that the Chargers have been using per game, one tight end formations. Early in the season, they didn't have Gates the first 4 weeks, but later in the year, again, with that whole offensive line and all the issues.
Right. As they got later in the year, when they got Gates back, Ladarius Green became a bigger part of the offense. They started using 2 tight ends. Why? Because they both are good receivers. It helps in protection with offensive line problems. And it's part of this offense when you talk about Frank Reich, Mike McCoy, and Phillip Rivers has run many offenses over the year with different coordinators where it involved 2 tight ends.
Well, out of that Denver timeout, Chargers got Denver to use one. They caught him off guard. Cypress comes onto the field for the punt, hits it the 1, and is carried into the end zone. Could have made a play on it, but Ducray tried to catch it. He should have just batted it.
Got to bat it back.
And Cypress continues to have problems just walking back to the sideline. He's in pain.
Well, definitely a touchback. I think Ducray thought he was going to be able to catch it. Stay short of the goal line.
All right, Tracy Wolfson, down to you.
Well, Jim, you're talking about Cypress. He's in a lot of pain. He was down here warming up, trying to see if he could give it a go. I was told by San Diego that it's definitely bothering him. But if he was out there, he's going to try and play through it. We'll see if he can continue throughout this game, Jim.
From the 20, thank you, Tracy. It's Osweiler's pass to Thomas. And he is carried by the side of the helmet by Robinson. And they'll give him forward progress to the 25, gain of 5.
It's interesting. It looks like maybe San Diego, they're looking at Demaryius Thomas, and they might match up Patrick Robinson with him. No, that's not the case. Didn't go over with him that time.
You got Vernon Davis, though, on the bottom of the screen with Robinson on him.
Look, they got so many good receivers, hard to match up against all of them.
Osweiler goes deep and is just out of reach for Thomas, who had a step on Williams.
He's going to get it. I think Brock Osweiler would have hit this pass, but he was under pressure. Top of the screen, little stutter go. Williams, Demaryius Thomas, man, boy, he has got it back. Let's watch him. Watch as he moves up. He doesn't get to relax and throw this football up in the air. He feels the pressure, steps up, and a lot of times it makes you throw the ball flatter and farther than you want.
Got an injured Charger. It's Robinson. And they've come out to take a look at him. That pass was thrown in a hurry by Osweiler because Melvin Ingram was starting to beat Schofield and move in on the quarterback.
Well, I think that's the big question, or the answer, I should say. The problem for Denver's offense, Schofield, he has struggled, and you got to know that they know it, so you have to do formations, plays, help him out whenever you can.
Well, Denver gets this electric start, the second play of the game, the 72 yards to Demaryius Thomas, then turn it over on 2 straight possessions. What have you seen so far by the effort by San Diego here in this one?
Well, San Diego always gives great effort. I mean, we've done so many games, it seems like, Jim, where they're always beat up, hurt, trying to overcome the offensive line injuries, but they play hard. They got a very good scheme on defense that can give you problems. But saying all that, Denver, 3 opportunities, only 1 score. You always look back and you say, man, we could already have this game really under control, but now they're in a fight.
Osweiler has gone long a couple of times. He had the long pass play to Sanders, which resulted in Sanders coughing up the football for the first time since a game back in 2012 when he was a member of the Steelers. Then he just tried to go long to Demaryius Thomas. And there again, you see Peyton on the sideline.
Well, you know, listen, I think when Brock Osweiler's in there, there's a couple things. He moves around really well for a guy that's 6'7". He's taken a lot of hits. And really, Jim, not his fault. It's because of protection breakdown. So he's withstood it because he's young and he can take all those hits and still keep playing. But you also have to worry about all the boots, the fakes, and him getting outside the pocket to throw the football, which he did many times in the first game against San Diego. Haven't seen any of that so far today.
So Robinson comes off in pain, and he'll be replaced by Mager.
Well, they're missing, like I said earlier, one of the best corners in football, Jason Verrett, inactive for this game today, so that's a big deal. Patrick Robinson was their nickelback, plays the slot receiver, which is always important when you talk about covering receivers in the NFL. There's Craig Mager, a rookie, third-round draft pick, a lot of speed, has gotten better as the year has gone along, become a bigger part of this secondary.
And that's Barrett, you saw, not dressed for this game, out with a hamstring. 3rd and 5, looking for options. There's one, caught and held on to this time by Norwood. Right in front of a dive, gain of 34.
Great protection that time by this offensive line. He wants to throw it short to pick up the first down, but he knows the play. That only comes with experience. To look right, to look left, and then just have the presence to look down the middle of the field and find Norwood.
Final seconds of the first quarter. Osweiler with 182 passing yards in the first quarter. 72 on the touchdown to Thomas. Look at that skip step by Hillman. And he's all the way down to the 20, running behind Ryan Harris. 21-yard rush by Ronnie Hillman.
Ronnie Hillman, the speed back, the guy that can really cut it back and make people miss. What a good compliment he is to this run game, and the opposite of C.J. Anderson.
That's the end of the first quarter. Denver leads it 7-3 after 1. We'll return after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back here for the second quarter, Jim Nantz, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson. The Broncos are driving. They're at the San Diego 20. A Bronco win here today, Phil, would give them the AFC West and the #1 seed.
I mean, the energy is great by the crowd, by the football team. Another good situation, and they're making big plays.
And a loss. And Perriman comes right in and makes the hit on Hillman.
That's why I talk about this is where you got a chance on the defensive side. You need big plays to turn it over, to score, whatever. Denzel Perriman, man, he is an impact player at linebacker. If these defensive linemen protect him and Manti Te'o, they get it done inside. Atauchu, Ingram, they can do it from the outside pass rusher.
Thomas at the top of the screen. On 2nd and 10, and look out. Osweiler looked like he tried to throw it after he was hit, and they're going to rule it on the field as a fumble and a recovery by Square. Damian Square.
Unblocked off the left edge. It must have been
Steve Williams. Steve Williams has made now 3 plays in this game.
That probably has to be Brock Osweiler's guy. In other words, the pass protection, it looks solid. He's got to read the defensive back coming off the blitz off the left side. Did not see it. Williams causes a fumble.
Any way that could be interpreted as a pass?
I didn't even think that it could be. No, Jim, I did not. But I'll look at it.
They are going to review it. And they just announced it. Watch, he gets hit. Now it looks like he tries to throw it.
I think the hand was coming forward. It was empty. I think the call on the field will stand.
Going to be reviewed. Peyton Manning's been over there during this entire break visiting with Brock Osweiler. They ruled a fumble on the field. They're reviewing to make sure it wasn't a pass. And now Ronald Torbert's about to give us the judgment.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. San Diego's ball, first down.
That is now 3 takeaways by the San Diego defense. 15 minutes and 40 seconds into the game.
Yep, and this has got to be Brock Osweiler's fault. When you see the safety come out of the middle of the field and cover one of the receivers to your left, that was Adrian Phillips on the coverage. You got to expect the blitz. Caught him off guard, wasn't ready for it. I'm sure that's what Peyton Manning was telling him on the sideline.
Here's Rivers. He's looking down the field and falling when he threw it. Incomplete. Gary Kubiak's team strikes gold on the second play of the contest. The 72-yard short throw and then long run by Demaryius Thomas. And then all three of these turnovers, Steve Williams has had a hand in them.
How about that?
Fumble recovery, the interception, and the forced fumble.
Well, we said they got an impact defense, and they're making an impact so far in this game, keeping San Diego in it with those 3 turnovers.
Second down and 10. And Woodhead for about 3. And all of those turnovers occurred in San Diego territory with the Broncos moving, especially the one where Manuel Sanders fumbled inside the 10.
Yeah, and then you know, going back, we know they got speed on that San Diego defense too. John Pagano, such a veteran defensive coordinator. He loves Wade Phillips and him both. If it comes down to making a decision, they're both going to go, well, let's blitz them and put pressure on them. They both love to do that to quarterbacks, and it paid off for San Diego on that last drive.
3rd and 7. Stacked receivers, 3 of them on the left. And that's the way that Rivers goes, and Floyd unable to come down with it as Roby helped rip it out of his hands.
Bradley Roby, number 29, is the extra defensive back on 3 wide receiver sets. Has had an outstanding year, and that time never fooled. Good position, knocks it down, and he's big too, so you can't overpower him. I just think you're going to go up and make the catch.
And Cypress, as Tracy reported, in pain. Boots a good one down to the 14. Breaking off the first attempt at a tackle. Norwood is finished off by Woodhead. 9-yard run back after a 53-yard punt.
There's no doubt. You look at Cypress, it's got to be his left knee. That's what he keeps grabbing in the limb. But
McCoy appreciates the effort.
Sure. I'd hate to see how far he'd kick it if he was completely healthy. Great punt. But you know the story so far, though, Jim, the 3 turnovers by Denver's offense.
Well, they have 228 yards, the Broncos. 228, just barely into the second quarter. And they have 7 points to show for it. To give to Hillman for 4. And again, Steve Williams is the one who's come up every time making the play. Takes it out of the hands of Sanders. Off the deflection of Norwood. And then the blindside hit, forced fumble on Osweiler. Recovered by Square. $15 takeaways. Worth mentioning again. The entire year. And then 3. Just a little more than 1 quarter into this one. 2nd and 6. Hillman with the spin move, which got him a couple.
Well, trying to keep the situation, settle the game down and keep the situations good or solid for this offense. That's why you see the couple runs, take the pressure off the offensive line. Just don't get into that pattern. Yeah, we're making big plays, but if you get in a rhythm of throwing that football too much, the blitz and the good pass rushers sooner or later are going to take advantage of it and beat this offensive line.
Here's the 3rd and 4. Osweiler steps up and finds Owen Daniels out to the 45. Boy, they connected a couple of crucial times in the late going against Cincinnati on Monday night. They do it here too on a 3rd down play. Goes for 15.
Watch Osweiler in the pocket, moves up, keeps 2 hands on the football, keeps his shoulders down the field so he can find Owen Daniels and make the throw. And Owen Daniels, I just said to you before the game, this is as good as I've ever seen him play. With all the years he's been with Gary Kubiak, it seems like as the time goes on, he's a bigger part of this offense, and he still shows inside he can beat people one-on-one.
Ricardo Matthews, the latest Charger to limp to the sideline.
That's a big miss, too. He can get to the quarterback. High-energy player. Gets in the backfield a lot.
In the backfield for Denver is C.J. Anderson. 3 carries for 20 yards was his 4th handle. And Perriman busted across quickly. He's an impressive rookie. 2nd-round pick out of Miami, Denzel Perriman. Tonight, 60 Minutes goes to the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle to unravel the mysteries of a recent shipwreck, plus an investigation on the mafia's role in tampering with the food we eat. 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. One of the positives that San Diego will come out of the season with is the play of the linebacking core.
Oh, absolutely. All 4. The outside linebackers who are the pass rushers, Manti Te'o and Denzel Perriman inside.
2nd and 10. Screen well read by my Manti Te'o. He's there. Pylon also.
Well, Kyle Manuel, even though it's a screen, gets there fast. Brock Osweiler can't even really set it up and fake out anybody. But when you're playing pressure, which San Diego did there, screens, tough to get against them.
And a loss of 4.
John, the theme for the San Diego Chargers, we said in the opening a little bit, they want to win the game just with their defense. And it's not an overstatement because of what we've seen here so far. They've kept this team in here with the 3 turnovers, as you said.
3rd and 14 underneath to Thomas. 3 Chargers await to keep him short of the first down marker by a good 6 yards. Te'o the first to get to him. And now for the first time, Britton Colquitt will be out to punt.
That was a good read by Brock Osweiler. Nowhere to go with the football. Throw it short, play field position. And knowing, hey, look, we got the best defense in the NFL. Give us good field position back after the Chargers are on offense.
Javonte Herndon is the Charger returner. End over end punt near the 10. Fair caught by Herndon. 40-yard boot. Phillip Rivers and the Chargers come back out. Down 7-3 in the 2nd quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. T-Mobile. Ditch your carrier and switch to the Un-Carrier. And by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days.
The Denver Mint produces billions of coins every year. Many of which you'll find in your home back in New Jersey.
Oh, man.
You save them all.
Yes, I do. Watching Peyton Manning talking to the receivers on the sideline, trying to gather some information from them. But this Denver defense, it's only given up 3 points. Jim, you talked about it. Trying to be #1 in the league against the rush and the pass. That's how good they are.
San Diego has the worst average starting field position in the league this year. This drive that began at the 11 is backed up near the 10.
Well, that was Sylvester Williams. Watch Derek Wolfe to your left. Takes the tackle. Barksdale throws him aside, goes in the backfield. Then Malik Jackson, 97. Sylvester Williams. Can't say enough about them. They all play well. Impact players. Don't get the credit because of so many big names. Aqib Talib, Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware.
They call it 2nd and 10. Movement on that left side. And that's Burwell, the rookie, who's been called to action here with the injury to Hairston, 78.
Ball start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
First enforced penalty of the game. All these rankings, they have a chance to really make history here today. And in 55 years, this franchise has never finished as the #1 defense overall. Wade Phillips got to be considered, if not the coordinator of the year in the league. I don't know who else would be. coming in and doing fabulous things here for a franchise that he served as a head coach back in '93 and '94. 2nd and 15. And splitting the defenders is Herndon. Out to about the 16 for a gain of 10.
You know, it's Jim, go back to Wade Phillips. It's the way he delivers the message to the players that caught him off guard. And I heard this early in the year. Wade Phillips called Gary Kubiak and said, when are you going to hire me? A lot of people want me. I'm going to coach. And Gary Kubiak finally pulled the trigger, and it's made the difference in his football team. His style, his communication has turned his defense in to the best in the NFL.
And of course, Charger faithful know the job he did back from 04 to 06 as the D coordinator under Marty Schottenheimer. And the defense of Phillips comes in with Wolf and company making the sack near the 5-yard line.
Well, we talked about collapsing the pocket. 95, Derek Wolf watching. He gets the center Robinson off guard and just walks him back to Phillip Rivers. And look how fast everybody is around. Shane Ray, Von Miller.
Loss of 8. Now Cypress just a yard off the back of the end zone. Hammers out another big booming punt. But there's open space ahead here for Norwood, who is slammed down by Emmanuel at the 49. 55-yard punt. 7 minutes to go first half. It remains 7-3 Broncos. Well, Oakland has put up 10 unanswered. Just got an interception return for a touchdown. Second pick of Alex Smith in that first half. And again, if Kansas City wins and Denver loses, the Chiefs take the division and the Broncos would drop all the way back to the 5 seed.
You're going to have nightmares tonight thinking about all these playoff scenarios. You've been talking about it for 2.5 days.
Now, I'll be so relieved.
I hear you.
It'll all be clear. Osweiler. Well, that's intercepted. The pass was influenced by the pressure. It's Phillips on the run back. And Phillips getting the chance to start with Weddle put on injured reserve. And he comes up making a play. And that's now 4 turnovers committed by Denver.
Everything that Denver wants, they are getting today. Melvin Ingram from the outside. Oh, he beats Schofield inside and takes the football right out of the hands of Brock Osweiler. So we've talked about it. You cannot leave the tackle out there too often, one-on-one, with these outside pass rushers. They're good. Top duo, one of the top duos in the NFL. I mean, you get your arm hit like that when you are throwing the football.
You got no chance.
Well, no, you have no chance, but you're lucky that you don't hurt that elbow or the shoulder. But Phillips, good job of being in the right position. Studies hard, learned a lot from Eric Weddle. Paid off there.
Just the 12th time this season the Chargers start in plus territory as Rivers throws it in the direction of Gates, incomplete.
T.J. Ward, really good coverage that time. T.J. Ward is a safety. Jim, we talked to him. He does everything. Plays the back in the middle. He's a linebacker sometimes on third downs. Covers that time Antonio Gates. They need him back there. He's a big part of this defense.
Well, you saw it. This is the 4th takeaway. So far, they've not produced any points off the turnovers. Brown to the 24. Gain of 4. Trevathan holds on to him.
Well, San Diego, even though their running game is not very good, when you look at them, they're last in the NFL in rushing. But they understand, Frank Reich, Mike McCoy, that they have to keep running the football just to help their offensive line out and to give Phillip Rivers a chance.
Rivers 5 of 12. He has not completed a throw to a wide out. He's got a 3rd and 6. 4-man rush. Pass incomplete in the area of Floyd. And back out comes Lambeau for another field goal attempt.
Watching the coverage that time outside, but let's watch Phillip Rivers. Does he have time to really set up and drive the football? Yeah, it's pretty good protection to drive it outside, but the coverage by Roby, there's nowhere to throw it. You know, you'd like to think you could pick on the third or the fourth defensive back, but that's not a weakness when you talk about Denver's defense.
42 yards for Lambeau, who was good from 50. And the Chargers opening drive, and this one is good. Lambeau now with 26 made field goals on the season. 2 of them today. 5:52 to go first half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. And by Amazon Fire TV. Change the way you TV.
There was a low-scoring affair when they met last month down in San Diego. 17-3 Denver victory. In this one, Osweiler's thrown for 202 yards and a touchdown. He has been picked twice. The first one clearly was not his fault. And really, you could say the second one wasn't either, as he was hit when he threw it.
Tough breaks, things like that happen in the NFL. And let me just, I'm gonna answer a question before you ask me.
Okay.
You know, I like asking myself questions.
Yeah, you're
anyway.
sure I'm going to ask you this?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do you think about putting Peyton Manning in here? And let me just tell you, no. That's not, I don't have any inside information. I'm just going by what I know and think about football and following it basically my whole life. Brock Osweiler is going to be the quarterback. I don't think there's anything. 5 more interceptions, whatever you want to say, are going to take him out of this game today.
First down carry, it's Hillman for a loss of 2. Do you think he's played poorly so far? We just talked about the 2 passes that were intercepted. You couldn't lay the blame really on the quarterback. He did get beat blindside and fumbled.
That was his
on another
mistake.
breakaway.
That, you know, if you say, what am I going to blame him for? I'm blaming him for the blitz, not seeing it, not adjusting to it where it truly, you know, I'm not sure, but it looked like that was his fault. The interceptions, threw one too hard. The second one, hey, that happens. It's not a perfect game. You got to deal with adversity. He has seen a lot of it, been in some tough spots. We'll see if he can overcome.
2nd and 12. 3-man rush, dumps it across the middle, and that is well defended by Berriman. 2-yard pass play to Hillman.
Well, Damian Square beats the center that time and got the pressure. John Pagano, the defensive coordinator, hey, look, Jim, have we ever done a game where this defense isn't all out? That's the way he coaches. Tremendous defensive coach.
Raised right up the road in Boulder.
And I think that's what gives this organization, they're excited about one thing, the fact that they know, man, we got a good young defense. When healthy, can be really good.
Here's a 3rd and 10 with 4.5 to go in the second quarter. And the blitz. Osweiler elects to throw it away. And now listen to the crowd here, Phil.
Well, they booed last week too. So they're going to boo when they don't like what they see. But watch how far this blitz comes. Here is Jaleel Adai. He did this last week against the Raiders a few times, and he times it. And Brock Osweiler has to throw it away. Can't give his guys down the field that extra time to get open. So throwaway's a good thing sometimes.
Colquitt. Herman steps over for it and makes the sliding fair catch at the 39. College hoops next Saturday. It's conference crunch time. LSU and Florida in one matchup. Ben Simmons, the freshman, has been on quite a show. You'll see him in that one. And then next Sunday, Ohio State and Indiana. Big Ten action here on the road to the Final Four. CBS Sports. Check your local listings. The Broncos, for a number of weeks now, have had like 2 different halves in every game.
It looks like we were going to have that exciting big play first half, score the points, but that's not been the case. The turnovers are the story of this game. I think the other story is, can San Diego find a way to really move the football to score on their own without the defense helping it?
Donald Brown saw Malik Jackson get a hand on him quickly. Manages a 3-yard pickup as Malcolm Floyd is on the sideline. And again, what will be his final game of his NFL career. Weeks 14 through 16. They blew the 12-point lead, double-digit lead loss at Pittsburgh, and then nothing happened in that first half against Cincinnati. They were down 14-0, having run only 6 plays, and then stepped on the gas in the second half. 2nd and 7. And that's a first down catch by Gates. Takes it across midfield for 9.
Good matchup. They're looking for these all day. Antonio Gates against the linebacker Corey Nelson. I'll tell you one thing, he's been in the league a long time. Some people think this could be his last game as a player, as a San Diego Charger, but he still has those quick feet.
Looks like he could still play for a couple of years.
Yeah, it does. I think he will. The big question is, will he be with San Diego next year?
Here's a first down handoff. Woodhead's coming back to Rivers with it. It's a double pass, and the second one is incomplete with a flag down. And a flag down at the 40. It's going to be a hold call against San Diego, I believe.
Holding. Offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Malcolm Floyd heading in. I sure hope he doesn't have to call it a career here, being injured in a game. Back, Tracy, let's get an update from you.
Well, guys, I was down on the sideline when he took a hard hit to the head. He came to the bench area. They've been looking at him. They called over the independent neurologist, and as you just mentioned, he is walking into the locker room for further evaluation. Obviously, here is hoping he's okay, as this is not how anyone envisioned his last game going, Jim.
Then they see Coach McCoy, who passed out over 150 thank you number 80 t-shirts on Friday at practice, and calls Malcolm Floyd one of the great people, one of the great human beings he's ever been around, is what the coach said exactly.
2 years on the practice squad, worked his way up.
Developed with Rivers during that time.
That's right.
You know,
developed with Phillip. What did Phillip Rivers said? No matter where I throw the football, he goes, I could two-hop it to him. And he go, you know, my fault, Phillip. I should have had that. He's, well, what are you talking about? So that kind of tells you what kind of guy he is, what kind of teammate. They know it out there in San Diego, and a great honor for him to have those T-shirts made, like Tracy Wilson said.
1st and 20 after the holding penalty. And another penalty marker is down. And the short throw for a couple, or one maybe, to Woodhead. We know it's a hold. Who's it on?
Offside. Defense number 94. 5-yard penalty. First down.
I saw 2 or 3.
Phillip Rivers?
Yeah. Back and forth. He's indicating a hold. Here was the T-shirt distributed to the players. Again, courtesy of the coach. He had them made. Said he's going to order some more. They were so popular. He's such a humble guy. He was really even uncomfortable with all the fuss made over his retirement. Talk about Malcolm Floyd.
That was a great shot, though. Great picture.
Phillip Rivers saying that Malcolm is so at peace with his decision, I'd feel guilty trying to talk him out of it. So that's the first penalty of the game on the Broncos, which will make it a 1st and 15. Chargers at their own 46. From the gun, and again they don't get to him. Rivers bounces off of what would have been a sack and picks up 5. Got an update. Back to JB and Boomer in New York.
Seattle came into today hoping for home field.
Well, that would be Arizona too, JB. How about Russell Wilson? 24 yards to Jermaine Kearse. He's 10 of 13, 131 yards, 3 touchdown passes. They did miss the extra point. Seattle's up 30-6. 5 possessions, 5 scores for the Seahawks against the Cardinals today.
Nice correction by the teacher there, Boom. Thank you very much. Jim Nantz and Phil Simms.
All right, thank you, fellas. Back here, we've reached the 2-minute warning. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB and all the crew, they're going to give you the latest playoff scenarios and all the highlights from earlier today. Coming out of the 2-minute warning, we had a touchdown 31 seconds into the game and only a pair of field goals since. Rivers gets it over to Herndon, who's twisted down by Talib. Meanwhile, as we continue to eye what's going on at Arrowhead, they've gone to half with the Chiefs leading at 14-10. Broncos clinch the division with a win or a Chiefs loss.
Yeah, just remember the Raiders came in here to Denver and beat this Broncos team.
And they came back from 12-0 in that one.
Yeah, they're not scared of the big moment, that's for sure, with Jack Del Rio.
They were down 14-0 to Kansas City early in that one. Of course, the Kansas City win and a Denver loss gives the Chiefs the division. Rivers again in a pickle and decked at the 50.
I'm not sure who got there, but Malik Jackson was one coming from the outside.
The flag came in at the end of this, Phil.
It's Demarcus Ware.
After the play was over, delay of game. Offense, number 17, striking the ball in the field of play. It's a 5-yard penalty. The down counts. It's 4th down.
Demarcus Ware and Malik Jackson on the left side up top. Both just get their guys and run them back and run over Phillip Rivers.
Here's the
of course, that's
Rivers frustration penalty. I don't know who you give the credit for the sack to.
Oh, you just give it to the team. I mean, because they're all fighting for it. It's a rush now to see who gets the sack numbers. And the San Diego offensive line, not a surprise. It's truly overmatched in this game.
Cypress. Not much hang time with this one. Norwood's got a 10-yard head start. And is brought down at the 27. 58 seconds and a pair of timeouts. You saw Cordero Law slow to get up, and this is what I was going through before. This is what you say I'm going to lose sleep over tonight, trying to keep up with all these scenarios. But it's getting down to the to just a couple of things. You think about the way this day began. How about Buffalo's victory over the Jets?
How about that? The Steelers, I think, just watching that game as much as I could, very fortunate to get by and beat even Cleveland today when they were getting a big reward from the Buffalo Bills.
And the ball is dropped by Hillman.
Got to watch it. Hillman looking up the field way before the football got to him, and that's why he dropped it.
But what a reprieve, though, for the Steelers, who I think suffered one of the worst losses I can think of in a long time. One of the hottest teams. All the experts were saying this was going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs. The next thing I know, they go to Baltimore and lose to Ryan Mallett, who's just only been with the Ravens for a couple of weeks. And then they come back today, and thanks to Rex Ryan and the Bills and their victory, they get in. That's Norwood with the catch at the 35. And they will be a dangerous team.
Well, they can be because of their offense, but we'll see. That was is that a tight throw by Brock Osweiler there to Norwood.
Timeout called by the Broncos. And again, the Verizon halftime report will be coming up shortly. We'll be going back to New York with the highlights of all the early action. And they'll give it their own attempt at bringing some common sense at all these playoff scenarios.
Well, that rules out a couple people in the studio then. So,
oh, boy.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But, you're Brock Osweiler. The first half has not gone your way. You're in this situation. Your defense is playing great. See it. Make sure it's you see it right, and be careful with the football.
3rd and 2. That is caught by Sanders, and very nearly Williams got his hands on another one.
It was tight. Another tight throw. Penalty flag on the field. But all the way to the sideline from the middle.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense, number 29. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
So the 10-yard pass play will hold up. That brings Osweiler to 222 yards. So as we scrutinize what he's doing, he's on pace for over 400 yards.
Well, I'm sure he's going to be scrutinized at halftime, every show, everything that goes on with the NFL.
Here comes Perriman after him.
Another blitz, a screen once again. The Denver Broncos not guessing right against this San Diego defense.
Got out of the pocket here too, Phil.
Yeah, he had to, just to create space so he could throw the football away. Adai, Perriman, two fast, quick impact players on the blitz that time.
So 34 seconds and a 2nd and 10. Pagano has to really love what his defense has done after the second play of the game. Everything after that.
Same defense we saw last week that played so great in Oakland for most of the game.
Middle of the field, there's another flag. It's going to be a hold call, I believe, against Denver.
Well, I think it's going to be on 79 on Schofield. Matched up one-on-one with Melvin Ingram.
Holding. Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
And look, obvious passing situation. You're worried about the speed outside. So if you worry about the speed as an offensive lineman, I've talked to many and know this is what they think. That will overcome you. So the inside move, if it's timed right, like we saw right there, there's nothing you can do as a tackle except hold on. Now they got a formation to the right to at least give an extra guy near Schofield to help him out.
They go draw. And that's good for 7 for Hillman. Letting the clock run here.
Well, I think what it is, Gary Kubiak has basically said, I've seen enough. Let's go in at halftime, regroup. They got the lead. They withstood 4 turnovers to be ahead 7-6. That's the positive.
Gave up only 3 points off those 4 turnovers. They out yardaged the Chargers exactly 3-1. 279 to 93. But it's only a 1-point lead as we go down to Tracy.
Thanks a lot, Coach. 15 turnovers all season long, 4 today. What's been the biggest difference for your defense?
Getting after him. They get after the quarterback, forcing Brock into some throws he doesn't want to make, tip balls, things like that. So the defense is playing outstanding, creating the turnovers.
How do you turn, those turnovers into more points?
Well, we got to make some plays on offense. We got to have positive yards on first downs, and we got to do a better job of protecting Phillip there on 3rd down.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Jim?
Chargers will receive the second half kickoff. Halftime with Denver leading at 7-6. Back with the Verizon halftime report. After this message and a word from your local station, you're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Chargers about to receive the second half kickoff. Got to give them a lot of credit for finding a way again to come back. But all of these difficult losses they've suffered this season, so many of them in the last possession of a game type situation, and come back once again, put up a feisty effort.
I guess I say I'm not surprised. Just the way we've watched them play this year. They played so many tight games. And what we have talked about many times, their defense has made impact plays to keep them in this game.
Had to put the kick on the ground. And it's scooped up by Vaughn. Fowler's on him. At about the 19. So will it be the tale of 2 different halves again for the Broncos this week?
Well, it could be. Listen, a lot of yards, a lot of opportunities. Had a chance to put the football game away early. They did not. I listened to the halftime. I'll agree with Bart Scott in one thing, that they need to help their right tackle out, Michael Schofield, to give him not to put the pressure on him one-on-one all the time with outstanding pass rushers.
I also heard Bart going to commercials saying, bring out Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I heard that too.
You don't expect to see that.
No, I do not.
4 turnovers again. The Broncos in that first half put up 279 yards, but doomed themselves on those 4 occasions. There's the give to Brown for 5, and let's get the halftime report from Tracy.
Jim, you mentioned Peyton Manning on the sideline. Brock Osweiler will take the field. I asked Gary Kubiak what he told Osweiler in the locker room. Just a different environment for him right now, and he said he needs to take control of the team, control of his job right now. I also asked him if he'll make an adjustment with Michael Schofield, and he said no. We have to worry about the 3 third and longs. Jim?
Now the Chargers plow ahead for another yard. The San Diego offense never produced a play longer than 13 yards in the first half.
Well, I could say this almost every play today. Malik Jackson on the play. He causes the sack. He just made the reason he got those first 2 tackles. Malik Jackson is elite, a free agent. To me, he reminds me of Michael Bennett of the Seattle Seahawks. Powerful, can rush the passer, disruptor. Another great game by him today.
3rd and 4. Barksdale, the right tackle, seemed to be a little shaken up on that last play. He stays in there. There's the pass for the first down, but a flag is out as Woodhead is shoved out by Talib. Eight-yard gain that was good enough for the first. And Mike McCoy seems pleased it's going against the other side.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference. The block in question occurred within a yard of the line of scrimmage. Result of the play is a first down.
Actually, no call at all, so San Diego picks up the first. They're without Stevie Johnson today, inactive with that lingering groin injury. We've been seeing the likes of Tyrell Williams out there at times, number 16. Floyd again nicked in the first half and going through the concussion protocol. I mean, they're very limited. They've just tried to find anybody they can to step in on that offensive line as Woodhead gets knocked back at the 39.
Well, you know, Jim, you and I over the years, we keep talking about how we've watched Malik Jackson just keep improving. Look how he just, oh boy, that was tough. Burwell drives him back into the quarterback, and then Malik Jackson to Marcus Ware. You said it in the first half. Who do you give the sacks to? I don't think they care. The fact that Phillip Rivers goes down is the most important.
2nd and 6, and Woodhead for 2 more. Again, this running game is another part of the roster that has suffered casualties, with Melvin Gordon lost a couple of weeks ago with a knee to injured reserve.
Donald Brown basically was the 4th running back. Now they got to rely on him to pick up yards. And of course, Danny Woodhead. Tight formation by the Broncos. Why are they doing this with all these guys together? Because they respect the coverage of Denver, trying to create a little space to move in.
Bunch package to the right, but they go to the left, and it's knocked out by Roby, incomplete. Trying to get it in the hands of Inman, and the Broncos take him off the field.
Great coverage. Watch it on the bottom of the field. The 3rd time we've seen Bradley Roby make this type of play. Phillip Rivers could have gone to the top, but no, one-on-one. And Roby comes through again, and you've heard me say it. Hey, a lot of pressure when you talk about being a corner for the Broncos. Wade Phillips is going to make you cover one-on-one like that a lot.
Inman without a catch after 8 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown at Oakland. Cypress, he's had a heck of a game so far. Down by Williams at about the 5 after a 55-yard boot. Let's see what the Broncos offense looks like in the second half when we return. Anderson will be the running back on this first snap for Denver in the 3rd quarter. From the goal line, complete to Sanders for a gain of 10. And it's update time. Back to JB and Boomer in New York.
Hey, Jim, KC continuing its superb play.
That's right. That's linebacker DJ Alexander. He blocks a Marquette King punt that results into a safety for the Chiefs. They take the lead 16-10, looking for their 10th win in a row.
Jim Nance.
Oh, we got another miscue by the Broncos. It comes out of the hands of Anderson, recovered by a die, and now a 5th turnover committed by Denver.
Oh my gosh, they got the blocks inside. And Anderson, good job just reaching in and ripping it out.
Anderson, who fumbled in the late going against Cincinnati Monday night, his first lost fumble of his career, and now he coughs it up again, and San Diego has the recovery at the 32.
John Pagano can't believe it. 5 turnovers.
It's incredible.
And Tateo, good job. We've talked about Denzel Perryman, but man, Tateo has truly improved as a linebacker making plays.
J.D. Walton, the center, snaps it back to Rivers, who hands it off again to Brown, and he's into the secondary down to the 13. Goes for 19 yards. Watch him duck underneath.
Yeah,
Trevathan.
DJ Fluker gets the block, and he gets underneath and makes that little cutback. Donald Brown, I think that's what he does best. He's a very patient. In other words, patience. Takes his time, lets the play develop, sees it, and he is a dangerous cutback runner like we saw on that play there.
Former Peyton Manning teammate at Indianapolis. Was the Colts' first-round pick back 7 years ago. Rivers had time, and then they come in on him. And Von Miller makes the sack back at the 20. Loss of 8.
Too much time. Nobody gets open. Von Miller, top of the screen, just keeps working. Because the protection, where are you going to throw it quick? Didn't see it. Inman, his first move on the inside, could have been open. Phillips not open. Brown covered very well, too. He was looking left. That's why he did not see Inman open to his right side.
He was dinged on the play. You saw him on the bench. Shaq Barrett's come in for him. 2nd and 18. And wrestled down as Gates with a flag. Corey Nelson was the tackler. We got another Charger down as well.
Holding. Defense, number 52. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down. Timeout.
It'll be first down, San Diego at the 15 when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Fruit of the Loom. They test their products so you know they work. And by Verizon. Better matters.
Aerial coverage of today's game is provided by MetLife, and one of the Chargers remains down on the field, surrounded by the training crew. We have not been able to identify that player to this point, and it is going to be Tyreek Burwell, who had come in earlier for Hairston. And during that break, as they bring the card out, during that break on the Denver sideline, look who's warming up. Peyton Manning was making some throws. Looks like he's going to be coming back in the next time Denver has the football.
He's going in, talking to Greg Knapp. Well, Bart Scott yelled for him. I said it wasn't going to happen, but it is. He is going in the game. You could tell he's stretching. Brock Osweiler has his hat on. No helmet. Of course, another injury to the Chargers offensive line. Burwell getting a chance to get in there and play. Sad to see him get hurt and be taken off.
Really, you start looking at the San Diego roster, who's active, and they're down to Jeff Linkenbach, and he's come out onto the field.
It's all, you know, Jim, not to change the subject. It was just Peyton Manning warming up, and you know, it got down to this. Gary Kubiak's words to Tracy Wolfson at halftime. The way Tracy said it, they had a little sting to it. and like Brock has got to take over this game and whatever. Well, I don't know what he did. He threw a pass, they handed off and fumbled, but it was just they're not going to wait. Bring Peyton Manning in, make the decisions, and they know what's at stake here. So Gary Kubiak making that change because he thinks Peyton Manning is going to give him the best chance to win this game.
First time in the red zone for either team today. On a 1st and 10, Brown banged around. Picks up 1. And let's check back with our guys in New York.
Hey, Jim, talk about momentum going into the postseason.
KC adding points. Demetrius Harris, the tight end, 15 yards from Alex Smith. That's the second touchdown pass today for Alex Smith. Chiefs looking to win their 10 straight, as I said. They now lead 23-10 over the Oakland Raiders.
Back to Jim Nance.
Back here, the Broncos ahead 7-6, but the Chargers 2nd and 9 from the 14, and another yard gain by Donald Brown. And should San Diego figure out a way to pull off the upset here and Kansas City goes on to win, the Chiefs would take the division. They would be the 3 seed in the playoffs next week, and Denver would fall back to the 5 and have to play on the road next week at Houston in the wild card round. 3rd and 8. Rivers in the pocket with heat to the end zone, and it is caught. What an effort. Antonio Gates out-battles KO for the football, and the Chargers have taken the lead.
Unbelievable. What a catch. Phillip Rivers hangs in there. He's under pressure. Gates, 85, watch him go here, and it's, you think it comes down one hand and still holds on to that football, doesn't lose possession. Well, what a catch by Gates.
San Diego's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards and touchdown catches. That's a beauty right there.
It was a beautiful. KO was all over him, and Phillip Rivers moved up in the pocket and threw it on the move, and tremendous touch. They're waiting to confirm this, Jim, and then your first thought, oh man, did that come out? But no, Antonio Gates. He can palm a basketball. He can sure palm that football.
That's the 77th time that Rivers and Gates have combined for a touchdown. And if this is the last time the Chargers represent the great city of San Diego, what an effort they're putting up here in Denver. Taking the lead here in the 3rd quarter. Trying to spoil the Broncos' hopes for a #1 seed and the division. What a turn of events here in Denver. San Diego's taken the lead, and Peyton Manning has regained the quarterback position. 5
turnovers by Denver today. And I would say right now, Peyton's played in so many big games over the years. We've seen it. There's got to be a lot of nerves and excitement, of course, going on for him right now.
He'll be coming out to the 20-yard line, having not played since November the 15th. And listen to this reaction as Peyton takes the field. His crowd is thrilled.
Well, that's part of it. Get the emotion back in the crowd. Get your team fired up.
Last played November 15th in a game here against Kansas City. Set the all-time pass yardage mark in the game, but a game he completed only 5 throws and was picked 4 times as he was suffering from that plantar fasciitis injury. So 7 weeks after last playing, here's a handoff to Hillman, and he's got 7.
Jim, we talked about it in all those weeks out, really just getting to practice this week. Didn't take any reps that I saw on Friday. It was all Brock Osweiler with the first team offense, but his practice sessions were good enough to put him back in here.
2nd and 4, trying to back in for a first down. That's Hillman. He's close. Looks like they're going to mark it at the 30 for the first.
And look, I kind of said it during the game. I'll say it again. I didn't think there was anything, any scenario that was going to bring Brock Osweiler out of this game. But you kind of phrased it in a different way. So much on the line. They got to make sure they cover their bases. That's why they put Peyton Manning back in the
There's his first throw. It goes to Virgil Green, and he has a first down.
And the one thing Peyton Manning is going to do, even during that stretch when he played, and sometimes the numbers were not great, he will get rid of the football quick.
Picked up 14 on the throw to Green.
And, of course, he's going to be able to audibilize to more plays and get the best matchups.
Underneath he goes, and he's got Norwood. Short gain to the 50.
Well,
picks up 6, and they're moving up tempo now.
Going fast pace, tire out a defense that doesn't have much depth. And that time they helped out Michael Schofield, the right tackle. Great protection for Peyton Manning.
Anderson back in now for this play after fumbling the last time he handled it. And here goes Anderson. Inside the 40, inside the 30, and down to the 23. When you talk about a spark, they've got one here.
Watch Garcia, 73. Gets up the field, makes the block against Manti Te'o. That's what does it. You say Garcia, Matt Paradis, the center. Two young guys play hard, have a lot of energy. Good for this running game.
Anderson, gain of 23 with that one.
Well, this will get Peyton Manning back in the rhythm quick.
And it looks like the Chargers may have jumped. Melvin Ingram was anxious to get in the backfield.
Well, we were going to talk about Peyton. I was going to go over all the things that he's done well in his career. The hurry-up offense, the silent snap.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 54. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And all the fake snap counts are that quick, hard hut to make the defense declare or to get somebody offsides, which he did there.
So for the first time in this game, the Broncos will take a snap from inside the 20.
Well, he knows they're going to blitz. If not, that was great acting by San Diego, and it's a blitz.
That 1st and 5, and they go with Anderson. He gets past the wave inside the 10 and to the end zone. It's a touchdown, and Denver ties it at 13 with the extra point to come.
The blitz came from Peyton Manning's right. He checked to the run to the left. And Vasquez comes around. Watch 65. Gets the great block. Owen Daniels, 81. Gets a block. Looks like he's in, but it's close. But the blitz. 2 blitzers coming from Peyton Manning's right. Jim, that's why he changed the play and went to the left side, and there was nobody there to make the tackle.
Good block by Demaryius Thomas. And he may have had that left knee down as he was reaching out. The ball may not have broken the plane. Might have been about a half-yard shy. They're going to review it.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Jeep. Be ready for anything winter throws at you with the Jeep Grand Cherokee. And by McDonald's, teaming up with the NFL like never before.
We have looked at this any number of ways, and it looks like Anderson's left shin is down before the ball broke the plane. We'll see if Torbert agrees.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field will be changed. The runner's knee was down, with the ball just inside the 1-yard line. It will be Denver's ball, 1st and goal. There will be no adjustment to the clock. The clock will start on my ready for play signal.
Left leg. There it is. Looks like it's touching. Well, it's not the knee. The shin is definitely down. So that's the call. Good review, good overturn. And Mike Carey looking well dressed today. But we see the call. But Jim, we just talked about it during the commercial. This is like the dream scenario. If this goes through, Peyton Manning gets back in the groove, leads them to victory. We'll get a week off.
Yeah, get the extra week too.
More practice time.
So First and goal from inside the 1. Stay on the ground and getting it across. A touchdown for Anderson.
You know, it's not always about the throwing. Peyton Manning didn't come in and make any laser throws. He threw 2 short passes, but he checked to the run that got him inside the 1. So that's as important as anything. Taking advantage of every single snap, which you know he can because he's done it for so many years of his career. With of course, great experience. Hit tremendous results.
Saw backup lineman James Ferens in there helping clear the way for Anderson as Peyton takes them 80 yards in 2 minutes and 43 seconds. And now we hear they're going to take a second look at this one, too.
Sound will be further reviewed. Timeout.
Anderson puts his arms up, says, wait a minute, you guys already took 1 away from me. I think he's across this time. Today's Next Gen Stats presented by Esurance, auto and home insurance for the modern world. And after a second glance, this one too could be coming back. It's close. Watch again, his left leg, his shin.
The shin, there it is. It's down. Ball short.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field has changed. The runner's knee was down with the ball in his left hand, short of the goal line. It'll be Denver's ball, 2nd and goal. The clock will start on my ready for play signal.
Oh, well, Torbort's getting his exercise because he's looking at these replays basically 100 yards away from where the action is. So,
had a chance to run a few wind sprints
there you
here.
Go. High altitude. Shoot. Hey, listen, you and I both know this high altitude is no joke. It gets me every time I come out here.
So the Denver crowd's not happy, but those were the
right calls.
Correct calls. It's still just 2nd and goal. And will the 3rd time be the charm here? Again, Ferens will line up as the fullback.
They got Columbus as a tight end to the left of Peyton Manning.
Ferens shifts over to a wing on the left side. That's Green moving around into the backfield. Back to Anderson. One wiggle and driving it across. This time it will be officially a touchdown.
Well, it was not easy. That play was the toughest one.
Looked like it could have gone for a loss for a moment.
Well, look at it in the backfield. Carruthers is back there. Perriman's there. They just cannot locate the runner. By the time they finally find him, it's too late. He forces his way into the end zone. Oh, that's
guys
funny.
Okay with that this time?
Yeah.
Shaking his head, but he'll see later on that they made the proper calls. Now, for the lead, McManus, who has missed a field goal or a PAT in the last 5 games. He drills that one right down the middle. Put Denver back up by 1. So 2 lead changes in the quarter and 1 quarterback change. An instant success for Denver. A drive of 80 yards in 8 plays. Peyton threw 2 passes on the drive for 20 yards. And like you said, he put him in the right calls right down the field. The night before Super Bowl 50, the NFL salutes the best players and plays of the season. A primetime, star-studded football and entertainment special. NFL honors Saturday, February 6th, only CBS. Denzel Perriman getting some attention on the San Diego bench. A lot of folks were saying this week, because Peyton was back practicing, that he had been benched. You know, he still isn't 100%. He had those throwing sessions last week and 3 full days of practice this week. Didn't get a lot of first-team reps. But the scenario was just the perfect scenario for him to be able to return to the field. The offense was just nothing but a whole bag of mistakes. Five turnovers. he suddenly comes in, things are clicking, they're up tempo, and they march right down the field.
Yeah, you know, and look, I didn't think there was any scenario that they would take Brock Osweiler out today. I was led to believe that, you know, by reading, by watching practice, by listening to the coaches and everybody talk. But again, go back to Gary Kubiak's words to Tracy Wolfson. There was just a tone to it that tells you there's just more than just the turnovers. It was maybe missed audibles and not seeing the blitz.
That's Inman's first catch for 8. The ball squirts out.
And, of course, you're going to a Hall of Fame quarterback, too.
A 5-time MVP. Tracy Wolfson trying to keep up with all the injuries. What do you have down there, Trace?
A lot of injuries piling up for the San Diego Chargers. Center Trevor Robinson out with a shoulder. Malcolm Floyd, guys, out with a concussion. Cornerback Patrick Robertson out with a chest injury. And Chris Hairston, he's out with an ab injury. And one injury on the Broncos sideline. DeMarcus Ware is right now on the sideline. Left knee injury. It's all bandaged up. His return questionable. Doesn't look good, Jim.
Wow. He'd been out earlier this year with a back injury. That's a first down carry. Brown gets the necessary yardage plus one more. You know, sorry to hear about Malcolm Floyd. So his career has come to a close and going out with a concussion in his last game.
You know, Jim, just all the things that Tracy said. Joe D'Alessandris, the offensive line coach for the San Diego Chargers. I've seen him walk out on the field and give instructions to offensive linemen. That's how much movement, different positions they're all in.
Over to Herndon, slips through a tackle, and then is brought down by Barrett after 5.
I mean, you got a makeshift offensive line out there right now. It's even the guys that are playing are hurt. And like we said, you're going against the best defense in the NFL, in my opinion. That is some rough, tough stuff. And you got to do it just like Phillip Rivers did. Get rid of the football, try to deceive him a little bit, and look for that chance with a double move or a quick throw to get a big play.
Second down and 5. Woodhead in a slot to the right. Donald Brown flanks the quarterback. Rivers looks for Woodhead, who secures it. Gain of 3, 3rd and short. And we've got yet another Charger down on the field.
I think it's the shoe this time.
Yeah, Kenny Wiggins.
Saw Kenny Wiggins come in last week against the Oakland Raiders. There's Joe D'Alessandris, the offensive line coach. One of the toughest jobs in the NFL when all your guys are healthy.
Broncos bringing it. Man is wide open. Woodhead. Ward waiting for him. And makes the tackle around the neck. But San Diego takes it over to the Denver side of the field at the 45. Gain of 16.
Well, it's the blitz, but nobody is out there for Danny Woodhead. Was Shaq Barrett, number 48, who's on the outside rushing? Was he supposed to peel off and cover? I don't know. But nobody had an eye on him. Nobody picked him up, and a really good job by Phillip Rivers finding him.
And Ward, who has been sidelined a couple of weeks, back last week with a nagging ankle injury. He came up a little gimpy and sits out this play. First down and 10. Rivers goes down the field and incomplete over the head of Williams.
Had a chance. Threw the ball outside too much. Williams couldn't make the adjustment. Chris Harris now coming out of the game too. I've watched him a couple times today grabbing his left shoulder. And as he was running down that field, he reached up and grabbed it again.
Kayvon Webster has come into the secondary replacing him. They're going to need to win and get that extra week. They, of course, as you mentioned, had practiced. Everybody was healthy practicing this week for the first time since September. And they've had a couple of concerns here with Ware getting hurt, and now Harris in and out of the lineup. That's Woodhead for 3. Ward's back in. Harris comes back in.
You know, the one thing that saves this Denver defense, and it's the depth. They have so many backups that play and play well. They can rotate players. You shouldn't get tired. Just a good example that time.
3rd and 7. Can they take the Chargers off the field? Woodhead, and what a tackle. That is Webster. We mentioned had just come in a couple of plays ago. And he stops him short of the first. And the offense is staying out there for the Chargers.
Yeah, I think they're going to go for it. No surprise. Great tackle. When you have speed on defense, you are going to be a good tackling team because you can get there so sudden before the guy can make that second move.
So here in the final minute of the 3rd quarter, McCoy is going to make the gamble.
Yeah,
take the gamble.
It's the right play. No use trying a long field goal, punting it. I don't think they have great faith that they can stop Peyton Manning. So you need to try to pick up this 4th down.
Watch for Gates. Ward is on him. Here's the 4th down throw. And it's in and out of the hands of Woodhead. Webster helped break it up, making back-to-back plays.
Saw this play early in the game. They switched to formation from right to left. And once again, Phillip Rivers throws it just behind Woodhead. He's going full speed. He's going to pick up the 1st down if it's out in front.
So Denver takes over on downs at its own 38.
So far today, that Denver defense, usually hurt by those crossing routes, done a good job. Rivers has missed 2, but overall, just an outstanding day for the Denver defense.
Hillman waits for the blocks to unfold, stays on his feet, and then is slammed down sideways by Ingram, but he got within a half yard of the first.
Did you see it? He almost hit a, Le'Veon Bell. He almost stopped as he's going towards the line of scrimmage, slowed down, let the blocking happen, and took it up there near a 1st down.
Already today, Miami and Buffalo have played the spoiler role. Chargers are going to try to do that here in the final 15 minutes. We're back after this message and a word from your local station. Let's take a look at Next Gen Stats presented by Esurance.
Well, one of your big weapons is Demaryius Thomas, so find ways to get him the football, get his confidence, man, get him involved, and they did it. 4 catches for 101 yards, yards after catch 64. Nice job by Gary Kubiak in the offense, making sure he was involved early today. And, hey, you see, get the ball to 88. He can make a play.
A second and less than 1 to open the 4th. Nice piece of running by Anderson. Didn't look like there was a whole lot there, but he found it. Picks up the 1st down at the Chargers 46.
Well, he's battled toe injury, had his ankle, all that, and running backs. I even said to C.J. Anderson, said, there ought to be a rule. Running backs have to sit out 1 or 2 games every year. And he goes, well, that'd be a good rule because of the punishment. And you got to play so many times with nagging injuries, hard to overcome them.
1st down. Peyton drop back and throws. Open man, it's Thomas. The pass was there. And the completion is down to the 30-yard line. A gain of 16.
Boy, really good route by Demaryius Thomas. You worry about his speed, and that was Cassius Vaughn on the outside on the coverage. Nice throw by Peyton Manning.
Yes, it was.
Well, he makes the defense guess. His snap count, he's going to change the play. It puts you on edge. You're jumpy, much harder to attack when he's a quarterback.
He's going to throw again on 1st down. He's going long, and he overthrows by a step Emmanuel Sanders.
Well, Jim, leading, how about this? Well, let's get the defense and slow them down, and then he points out the blitzers, and they run the opposite way. You can't put a value on some of the plays like that. Except that we know it's really important.
Ricardo Matthews was shaken up in the 1st half, and now he's injured again.
A lot of plays. These guys are out there today, tough on these defensive linemen.
So many people affected by the severe weather here in recent weeks. If you'd like to help out, just text Red Cross to 90999 to give $10 to American Red Cross Disaster Relief. So Matthews to the bench. 2nd and 10 coming up for Manning and the Broncos. He's been in now for 12 plays, 8 of them rushes. It's 3 out of 4 passing for 36 yards. And taken off with Sanders.
Hey, look, he got me.
Offense, number 10, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
I flinched up here too.
He has to laugh that one off a little bit.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Looked like he was heading to the end zone, hoping Peyton might find him there.
I'll tell you what, it was a great start, but unfortunately the gun didn't go off.
Yeah.
Boy, Emmanuel Sanders practices so hard, fights through injuries, and just keeps playing.
2nd and 15, back to the ground. Look at Hillman. He goes backwards for a gain of 6.
Yeah, Paradis, the center, Matt Paradis, can't say enough about him. We don't talk about the offensive line only in the bad terms, but he's at center, 61, high energy, one of those. He's really in control and charge out there, and at least he gives this offensive line, gives him some unity, gives him some toughness.
Let's see what San Diego is up to now, and an obvious passing down here for Manning. Pass is knocked down. Has Melvin Ingram jumping up and easily batting it to the surface.
San Diego was burned by these screens many weeks ago against the Oakland Raiders in San Diego. Since then, they have been fantastic, stopping all the wide receiver screens. And you can see they read it, they saw it. Good play by Ingram.
Yeah, he didn't even have to bat it. Hit him in the helmet. So McManus is out for a field goal of 48 yards. He's 11 out of 19 in his career from 40 plus. It's not great, but this one is good. So the Broncos, a 10-0 run here since Manning entered the game here in the second half, upping the lead to 17-13.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by New York Life, here to help you keep good going. The Acura Oh What Fun It Is to Drive event. And by Verizon. Better matters.
Broncos lead it 17-13 off of McManus's field goal, and Manning
back in his comfort zone, man, going through the pictures. I mean, he can go through those pictures and looking for every detail, seeing if somebody's overplaying or being too aggressive in their job. That's the one thing he sees in those pictures over the years.
Since he entered the game, you can see the Broncos have put up 112 yards of total offense. There were the 5 turnovers under Osweiler's watch. Hit from behind and on a sack and had the ball knocked loose. The 2 picks, I still say, were not his fault.
Yeah, it was a look. It didn't fall for Brock Osweiler today. In other words, he didn't get the breaks, but Peyton Manning coming in has done a tremendous job in the 2 drives.
Then you got to hand it to Kubiak for being so decisive, making that decision, realizing this team had so much to play for, needing a spark, so much to lose because Kansas City has that lead on the Raiders now. And if Kansas City goes on to win this one, that forces the Broncos to go ahead and need to win to take the division. On top of it, though, larger stakes. A win also ensures the #1 seed. Rivers and the Chargers have amassed 182 yards of offense through 3 quarters. Here's Rivers looking down the field, wide open. He's got a man wide open. It's Williams. Somehow he got free in the secondary, and he jogs into the end zone to put the Chargers back in front. 80 yards. Rivers to Tyrell Williams.
Aqib Talib just lets Williams go right by him. So they have a mistake. Of course, there's a mistake, and there's a bust on the coverage. Here's Talib. Here's Williams. He's going to, hey, I got the outside. Somebody's going to, well, I don't know. You know, was Talib reading inside, seeing the inside receiver? I know this. The Chargers looking for the shot down the field. Kept extra blockers in. Phillip Rivers had time. Nobody around him. And, of course, a wide-open receiver.
Against the #1 pass defense in the NFL. Tyrell Williams, who Rivers told us a couple of weeks ago, preparing for the Oakland game, that he's the fastest receiver on the team. We got a whistle before the kick. And Williams with his first NFL catch. How about that? Out of Western Oregon.
Ball start. Offensive right tackle, number 72. 5 yards. Replay the try.
Yeah, we talked to him with Phillip Rivers and Mike McCoy last week, and he is big. You said it, the speed. That's what you look for when you go get guys from small colleges like Western Oregon.
38-yard extra point attempt, which is huge, to try to make it a field goal game. Lambeau, Cypress on the hold. And the kick is still good. Phillip Rivers, he'll fight to the end, and he finds the rookie in stride. His first NFL catch is quite a memory. Chargers back ahead. Aqib Talib is one of the best in the NFL, cover corners, but he got beat on this play. And he knows it. He's over on that bench. He's shaking his head during his break.
Here's the coverage. Corners, he's got this receiver. He's looking at Phillips, who's covered by him. We got a half on the other side where he's going to help the safety. And Aqib Talib, I think he sees Phillips breaking out, trying to think that he's going to make a play, and lets Williams run right by him.
San Diego receivers had only 26 yards before that play that went for 80.
Pretty simple defense. Rules were easy to understand. Just lost concentration. Say it's a big play would be an understatement.
That's Latimer. He lets it go for the touchback. The last game of the regular season tonight on NBC. The Vikings and the Packers coming your way. Now Chris and Michelle will have that one for you as they play for the NFC North Division title.
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking, can the Chargers, missing so many players, defensive backs, Ricardo Matthews, he's out.
No.
180! Push it!
Play action. Manning completes it to Sanders out to the 38.
Wow, what anticipation. Peyton Manning was throwing that football before Sanders even got close to turning around, and there it is.
Look at
right
Pagano.
on target.
Pagano was trying to run down that sideline and urge them to call offensive pass interference, saying he pushed off. You could see him gesturing to the officials, but it goes for 18. Manning again. Sanders to the 48.
Well, it's tough. Steve Williams, top of the screen, 23. The coverage is good. He's there, but you can't beat the fact the throw is on time, on target. It's kind of what I saw at practice on Friday. Peyton Manning, football came out of his hand very clean.
First and 10 and running room. Hillman with a wiggle on a dive and shoved out near the 24-yard line. 23-yard run by Hillman.
Watch the right guard. Gets off the block. Couldn't tell if it was Vasquez or Garcia, but excellent block. Gives Hillman room to run and pick up big yards.
Didn't take long to get in the field goal range. First down at the 24. There's Manning's throw. Thomas unable to come down with it. That was Cassius Vaughn, who was just signed here in the last week, a former Bronco who broke it up. Should have been caught.
Wow. I'm saying wow because Demaryius Thomas, just, you know, he looks like a different receiver than the guy I've watched the last few weeks. You can tell he feels well, or he's completely healthy, fast, and aggressive to the ball.
2nd and 10. And that's Anderson for 3. It'll be a 3rd and 7 at the 21.
Well, the one thing we know, John Pagano talked about it many times. I know it's Peyton Manning. He's had success against him through the years. Pretty much a depleted defense. The defensive backfield especially. Do you risk a blitz and give Peyton Manning an easy one-on-one throw?
And busting across is Damian Square.
It's twice since he's been in the game. Peyton Manning got him off sides.
Encroachment. Defense number 71. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
I mean, Jim, just think about the aggression it takes away from defensive linemen because of that snap count.
Well, it just changes it into a 3rd and 2 situation at the 16. Manning sends 3 receivers to the left.
What's the difference? Now, if you're a defensive lineman, you got to think run, and you just can't go all out to the quarterback trying to get a sack.
He's going to call timeout. And while the Broncos talk things over, let's get back to our guys in the studio in New York with an update.
Hey, Jim, no quit in Oakland.
That's right. With about 2 minutes left to go in the game, Derek Carr is going to find Michael Crabtree. 31 yards, guys. Chiefs still lead 23-17. And by the way, Cleveland has announced that GM Ray Farmer and head coach Mike Pettin have both been released and fired.
Back to Jim Nantz. Phil Simms.
They didn't even wait till Black Monday. It's not a surprise.
No, not a surprise. I'm just thinking, hey, we got a great game here, so much on the line, but, you can always think, I know players get cut, coaches get fired. It's truly, of course, we all know it's a tough business when it comes to that.
Here's a 3rd and 2. They do go to the ground, and the Chargers are all over Anderson right away. Manti Te'o.
Well, he's on the outside, and you got to know he's not being blocked. Watch Manti Te'o. Oh, he gets through and makes the tackle. He was on the other side.
And Law was in there, too.
Yeah, I was looking at Law. He's the one that came down the line and got in the backfield along with Te'o to make a big stop.
4th and 3. You've got to go for the tying field goal. With 9:56 to go, McManus from 35 yards. And that kick is good to tie it at 20. Last week, the Chargers were tied at 20 with the Raiders at the end of regulation before Oakland won it in the extra session. It has been a wild Week 17, no question. Earlier, of course, Buffalo ended the Jets' hope. Coupled that is with the Steelers' win at Cleveland as the Steelers find a way to get back into the playoffs as the 6th seed. Houston locks down the AFC South, handling Jacksonville today with ease. And then Miami at home defeats the Patriots. And that's the end result right there. This is the way it looks. Denver will be, in all likelihood, of what, a 1 or a 5.
Well, it's been a wild day. As you showed all those highlights, the one thing, that Houston defense, ever since that Miami game where they were just, you thought, that's it, their year's over. They've made some comeback and have played extremely well down the stretch.
Cincinnati's watching this game with interest, too, because if the Broncos lose this game, the Bengals would move up to a 2 from a 3 and get a week off. 20-20 with 9:45 to play, and McManus drives it well beyond the back of the end zone. It is a bit shocking to see a player with the credentials like Aqib Talib get beat by a rookie that badly in a game with so much riding on it.
Yeah, you know, Jim, the rookie didn't beat him. Aqib Talib beat himself because he thought he diagnosed the play and was doing something that he wasn't supposed to do.
He went over to try to help out on coverage of John Phillips.
That's right.
Not that Phillips is considered a great receiving threat, and he left the receiver unattended.
Well, they're not even lined up here. Well, I'm going to say nobody came out with the running back, but they expected Donald Brown to come back inside.
Jump pass over to Brown. And a collision at about the 25 with Trevathan getting credit for the tackle. Give him 6, and we've got another injury. Looked like DJ Fluker was grabbing his leg.
Yep, grabbing his left leg. He made a good block, got out in front.
I don't know there's anyone left. They might be able to bring back in Tyreek Burwell, who went out earlier.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Subway and the turkey breast sandwich with no artificial preservatives.
We're back with the Chargers facing 2nd and 4 at their own 26. They had brought back Tyreek Burwell, the rookie lineman who had been shaken up in the first half.
Yep, now he's playing right guard for DJ Fluker.
They have only one starter out there on the offensive line. 2nd and 4 play. Little sidearm fling in the direction of Gates, and it's incomplete. And let's check the penalty marker. Looks like it might be a hold against the Chargers.
Holding. Offense number 66. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Well, it's J.D. Walton, the center. It was a blitz. I mean, Wade Phillips, he knows. He didn't even have to listen to you, Jim. He knows what a mess this offensive line is right now. So he's going to turn up the pressure. I mean, to think that they could pick up blitzes and switching of roles by the defense, almost impossible. San Diego's got to keep a tight end and a running back in there to help out.
Second and 14 with 9:14 remaining. Rivers has the time, and he has the open man. Harris pushes him out. That's Williams, the touchdown maker before, with his 2nd catch. This one goes for 10.
Yeah, you know, man, Phillip Rivers didn't get hit. Good protection. Time to look over the field. Zone defense. Don't see a lot of that from this Denver defense. He took advantage of it and found the open guy.
Peyton continues the warm-up throws on the sideline. Open to play the role of hero. Can the Denver defense stop the Chargers here? This resilient Charger team, 3rd and 4. And that's Woodhead, and he is stopped short. What a tackle by Roby. Hit him around the neck area and stopped him short, and out comes the punting unit for San Diego.
Bradley Roby leaves his guy and actually makes the play. Woodhead coming out of the backfield. Boy, Roby he was covering. Herndon coming across the field, stopped and makes the tackle. He has had, you've called his name a lot today, Jim. A lot of big plays from Bradley Roby.
When Woodhead first caught it, you thought he might be able to pick up that first down.
Absolutely.
Roby closed in on him quickly. And here's Cypress. He's been an unsung hero today. Launches another big punt, playing hurt. Not sure that needed to be a fair catch for Norwood. He had some space. But Manning will come back out at the 22-yard line after the 48-yard boot. .47 to go, having not played since November 15th, really showing no signs of rust.
Not at all. Hasn't missed a throw. Been on target. Anticipation has been great. And, of course, the checks at the line of scrimmage, changing plays, and the snap count all working.
Called to duty after the Broncos had committed 5 turnovers, just 1 drive into the second half. He's led them to 13 points on 3 series. Here's the play action pass down the field, and he was open. It was Sanders.
If he had...
Peyton got knocked down by Damian Square.
Yep. Well, he's digging it in the middle. Damian Square beats the center. Matt Paradis. Wow, and what a hit.
That is one of the bigger hits you'll ever see him take.
It is. And it, you know, the grass in his helmet, and you know, I said that earlier. Brock Osweiler, when he's played, he's taken a lot of big hits also, but that time, biggest hit of the game for the Chargers defense on the quarterback.
2nd and 10. Hillman. And he's right into the arms of Kendall Reyes. Only a gain of 2. 3rd and 8.
I never got to the fact if Peyton Manning would have had time, that's going to be a touchdown. He's gone, and he sees it right away, and he, of course, needed a little more time to gather himself to put it on target. Had to throw it under pressure, and a lot of times you see that. You hear me say it. You overthrow it because you think you can't get it there, because you're going to get hit as you're letting it go.
Watch the matchup at the top. Thomas with the newly signed Vaughn on him. Manning looked his way. Now goes for other options. Dancing around in trouble. And he's taken down for a sack by Melvin Ingram. 3 plays and a punt coming up for Denver.
Coverage sack all the time in the world. Really only 2 rushers. Nobody going after him. Melvin Ingram on the ground, gets back up, but I could see it. Nobody was open, so Peyton Manning did the smart thing and took the sack.
Colquitt. As KC has just gone final, the Chiefs have closed out the Raiders. The ball's on the ground, and it is still free. It looks like San Diego might be at the bottom of that pile. Latimer with the hit that knocked it out, but San Diego does have the football. Recovered by Matt Daniels, who also, like Cassius Vaughn, was just signed in the last few days. Herndon with the fumble.
Wow,
Ross unable to first recover it.
He's trying to make a move as he's catching the ball. San Diego really lucky to recover that after the fumble.
Now with the Chiefs winning that game, extending their win streak to 10, closing out the regular season at 11-5. We have 4 teams in the AFC that will have their seed depending on this game. New England, Denver, Kansas City, and Cincinnati all will have their seeding finalized based on this outcome. That's Woodhead. Knocked down for a loss of 1 by Todd Davis, and we're going back to JB and Boomer in New York.
Jim, here's the visual embellishment of what you just said.
That's exactly right. Here's Derek Carr. He's going to hit Michael Rivera. He's going to try to get out of bounds, but Kansas City defense does a really good job of keeping him in bounds. Game ends on that last play. Kansas City goes on to win 23-17 over Oakland. And as you just said, Jim, Kansas City now is 11-5.
Back to Jim Nantz.
Team that was 1-5, given no hope, closes out the regular season with 10 wins. So the Broncos will be a 1 or a 5. Kansas City will be a 3 or a 5.
Danny Woodhead just left the field for the San Diego Chargers also.
2nd and 11. It's Brown. Into traffic. Set up 3rd and about 7.
Woodhead's coming back in. DJ Fluker's in back at right guard. That helps a little bit.
Showing blitz. Will they do so? Ward backs off. They rush only 3. Here's Rivers in trouble. Down the middle. He's intercepted. It's picked off by KO. Shiloh KO sidesteps Woodhead and is tackled down at the 23.
The ball went right through the hands of Williams. Phillip Rivers hung in the pocket. I mean, it collapsed around him.
Yeah, Wolf was getting close to him at the end there.
Look at it. There it is. Hangs in there. Goes through the hands. It would have been a tough catch.
KO, who played for Coach Kubiak in Houston, was out of football last year. Just signed a few weeks ago. Comes up with the theft. Peyton saying, get down. We'll handle the rest. With 4:50 to go. And taking over at the San Diego 23.
Center, right guard, get blocks, then let Hillman walk into the end zone. The center, Paradis, Vasquez, the right guard. Let's watch the both of them if you can. The center, right guard. Good seal, good kick out by Vasquez. Hillman got the speed to take it to the end zone.
Yeah, Teo had a hand on him, but Hillman just slipped right out of that. McManus extra point try is good. Peyton Manning has led the Broncos to 20 second half points. But this one set up by the interception.
Well, as you watch the play, Paradis, we talked about him at center. Manti Te'o had a chance, but Hillman, he was already at full speed, so there was no way he was going to pull him down.
The very first play after the pick. Broncos have rushed for 197 yards. This one put Hillman over 100.
That's the story. Since Peyton Manning has come in the game, the run game
has worked. Hillman with 117 and a touchdown. Anderson with 80 more on just 12 carries and a touchdown of his own. KO came up with the pick. Now can the Denver defense come up with the knockout? 4 out of 5 possessions produce points. 4 lead changes in this half. And for those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Chargers and Broncos, Jim Nantz, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety right after the game, except on the West Coast. What amazing change of stories we have here. You never knew if Peyton Manning would even take the field again.
No.
You know, and now all of a sudden he will clearly be the quarterback for them going into the postseason.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? You just forget about all the little things that a quarterback has to do. You said it well. Since he's come in the game, the running attack by the Broncos has picked up dramatically.
Yeah, it's not about the passing stats. It's about the way the offense and its efficiency has operated under his direction.
Absolutely. The snap counts, keeping the defense on edge.
Ward breaks it up on Herndon.
You know, the thing about Peyton Manning, which I learned years ago from Rich Gannon when he was playing with the Raiders under John Gruden, never waste a snap. See the defense, keep reading it, check to the play that gives you the best chance to have success. Just don't run a play in there and let a blitzer tackle a guy for no gain.
2nd and 10. Chargers go draw with Brown, who chugs ahead for 6. His Chargers team in what has been such a rough season for them, winless in the division, which they have not gone winless in the AFC West since all the way back in 1984. They've lost 7 division games in a row overall. They've had 11 games where they've been single score margins in the end. They've only been 3-8 in those games, losing a lot of tough ones at the end. Rivers facing 3rd and 4 with 4 minutes. And that keeps the drive going. Inman in front of Talib.
Time Brandon Marshall, linebacker inside, just about got to Rivers. Phillip Rivers so used to throwing under pressure this year because of the line, the lack of running game.
Brown, nice piece of running here. There could have been some early contact. He sidestepped it, waited, and then broke it free for a gain of 12.
Donald Brown.
Look at that move. Walton. Getting right around Antonio Smith.
Yep.
They move the football all the way out to the 46. Woodhead wide to the right. Looked like Denver may have jumped. Flags are down. Still playing it out. As Brown takes it to about the 48.
Offside. Defense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
And in the NFC today, you see Carolina wins the 1 seed. Arizona, I don't know what happened down there today, but just steamrolled by Seattle. Will be the 2, with Minnesota and Washington playing tonight for the NFC North Division title. First and 5 as the Chargers take the snap from the Denver side of the field.
TJ Ward against Antonio Gates.
Here comes pressure. Pass away to Gates. And a flag is back in the offensive backfield.
Holding. Defense number 92. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
A holding call against Sylvester Williams.
Yeah, he's trying to occupy a blocker so somebody else can come free, but you knew Antonio Gates outside against TJ Ward. Phillip Rivers looked it off, trying to find a way to make a big play. You remember, Jim, that's all he talked about. Get rid of it quick, and we can't march the football against this defense. We need to find a way to get those big plays.
2 straight penalties on the Denver defense. The #1 defense in the league. All they're asked to do now is to stop San Diego, and they'll take the division and the 1 seed. Bobbled, picked up by Woodhead, and he's hammered down for a loss of about 3. That one slipped through the hands of Rivers into the hands of Woodhead, and Denver pounces on him quickly. 2.5 to go.
I think what happened, the snap was just so hard that Phillip Rivers couldn't react to it.
J.D. Walton is at center now. He was Denver's starting center for all games in 2010 and 11. 2nd and 13 over to Woodhead. One wiggle, but does not fool Trevathan, who makes the tackle as we approach the 2-minute warning. Yeah, the final countdown. That's what we have here. So much to decide in 2 minutes. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a discovery at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle. New edition of Undercover Boss and back-to-back Limitless. 3rd and 15 with 2 minutes to play. San Diego's snap coming from the Denver 49.
Phillip Rivers, of course, knows he has 2 downs. Looks like it could be a zone defense. Trying to pick up a few yards to make that 4th down try easier.
4 rushers coming in on Rivers, chasing him, who gets it away to Inman. 1 hurdle and then smashed with the helmet coming off the Trevathan hit. Gain of 9.
That's one thing they're going to have to do. They got to stop all this jumping by running backs and receivers, because that's so dangerous. Yeah, it makes the highlights when you make it.
I think Inman just found that out.
Damn.
Well, you know, there was a lot of praise last week for an effort like that by Todd Gurley, and it got replayed over and over again like it was a great accomplishment, and people never told the rest of the story. He fumbled off of the hurdle because they were so dazzled by the highlight, and that's what helps promote it. You make these big, eye-popping, eye-catching kind of plays, and Inman is shaken up on this one.
Hey, I'm not just saying it because of this play, Jim. You've heard me say it many times.
I've always heard you say.
But it is charged a timeout to San Diego because the injury inside of 2 minutes, clock running.
Chargers are charged with a timeout here inside the last 2 minutes because of the injury. Charged the timeout.
That's right.
Peyton kind of has that look that I remember back in that epic AFC Championship game when they stormed back from 18 down against New England to win it. He didn't even want to watch when Marlon Jackson made the game sealing ending interception. He couldn't even watch.
Yep. Well, listen, I had a lot of things we were going to say today about what would be going through Peyton Manning's mind as he's the backup quarterback sitting over there knowing there was nothing he could do and that he might not play the rest of the year. But things didn't go well. You said it. Gary Kubiak's words to Tracy Wolfson. And, man, that was a quick turnaround. Put Peyton Manning in there, and it's put him in this position right now.
And, again, a big nod to Gary Kubiak, who was decisive. You know, you could say, well, Osweiler's had these good performances, was 4-2.
He just had his best game.
He just had averaged over 300 yards over the course of his last 3 games.
Right.
But
I'll tell you this.
Kubiak says, you know what? After that fumble, which had nothing to do with Osweiler, it was Anderson fumbling on their second play of the 3rd quarter. He said, we're going to make a change here and just change the culture of this offense.
That's exactly right. He looks fresh. He looks like he's rested. Feel good that Inman's up.
Mike McCoy is out there to check on his player.
And he's walking off, which is great.
And let's get back to what they're going to face here, because it's going to be 4th and 6. San Diego with 2 timeouts. I mean, you know, Stevie Johnson's inactive. Malcolm Floyd has been knocked out of the game. Inman's out for this play. All you got left are Herndon, a first-year player, Williams, a rookie who caught a 80-yard touchdown for his first NFL catch.
Well, what you have is Antonio Gates and Danny Woodhead. The fact that Denver is leading by 7 points and not 3 would change my thought. I would not be overly aggressive and give up a big play by trying to stop this 4th and 6-yard situation.
Woodhead in a slot to the left. He's the first one off the line of scrimmage. Gates here on the right side. Here's the 4th and 6 play. Rivers has the time, now breaking down on him and puts it in the middle of the field. Incomplete. Harris almost had the interception, but they're better off on the turnover on downs.
Williams was wide open. Watching the rush, couldn't quite see, but he's coming from the left side. Williams comes across. Look at him, nobody covering him. They mess up the coverage because of the formation and the switch routes, and Phillip Rivers misses him. See the switch? One goes out, one comes in. Chris Harris is too late. And Rivers just under pressure, doesn't put it on target.
I think you're right about Harris. He's had a couple of times it looks like he's in pain with that left arm, left shoulder area. Had he made the diving pick, the ball would have been back at the 18. Instead, on the turnover on downs, they'll take the snap at the 40. Again, the Chargers can stop it twice. Anderson cuts back for a gain of 1. And timeout is called by San Diego.
And that was we saw the Talib, the huge mistake for the touchdown, and that was another one. The routes confused them, and you know, when you're a team, Jim, that plays like I got you and you got him, when you start playing zones, it gets a little more complicated sometimes. And we saw a mistake that time by Denver. Lucky to get away with it.
Well, I'll get back to your point about Inman hurdling and then getting injured. It cost San Diego a timeout.
That's right.
Which they're going to really need here with only one left. Second and 9. And Anderson stays low for a couple.
You know, too, think about this game, though. Think about the fact what we talked about, getting ready for the game, seeing them at practice, talking to the coaches, everything. And then, you know, just sitting there watching Peyton Manning on the sideline, watching him warm up and thinking that, you know, actually I was thinking that, well, there's no way he's going to play, because you kind of expect deep down that this game is going to really go well for the Denver Broncos. And the opportunities were there many times. On the first 4 drives, they took the ball, they made big plays. It's like, wow, this offense is on fire, but they made mistakes. Gary Kubiak did the only thing he could do, shake the team up. The easy way to do it always is with the quarterback, especially when the quarterback is Peyton Manning you're bringing in.
3rd and 7. And Anderson, that's going to close it out. Picks up the first down. And now you can pretty much lock it up for the wild card round on the AFC side. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati, Kansas City at Houston. While Denver will be the 1, New England the 2. Those two will be the 1 and the 2, and you know, either 1-2 or 2-1 for the 4th straight year. Those two, New England and Denver, both get buys.
That's right. And you know, just last thing, the running game. You said it, I said it. Forget the Peyton Manning's throwing, which was very good today, but the running game, what he did for it, is part of the story.
Well, the story,
of course,
going into the playoffs now becomes all about this team and number 18.
Look, this is a Super Bowl caliber winning football team when you look at Denver. Peyton Manning is healthy, which he looked like he was. The defense, they can beat anybody.
Hey, there were many people who thought we'd never see him play again. And now he's going to ride into the playoffs, and he's got his team back. And he's got his team now going into the playoffs with home field advantage throughout.
Yep.
What a story going into the postseason. There is no story bigger than that one.
See the smile on his face. What a difference in the feelings it must be from him when he walked into the stadium today and when he walks out. And John Pagano, all those fights with him, the D coordinator Mike McCoy, who said many times how much he's a coach, how much he'd learned from Peyton Manning.
He was his coordinator Peyton's first year here in Denver. And there's Phillip Rivers. 2 gentlemen right here meeting at midfield. And if it is it for the Chargers representing San Diego, they once again absolutely left it all here today, trying their best to shock everybody and deny Denver the chance to have that home field advantage throughout, much less the division title. Let's go down to Tracy with a very happy guy right there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, he is happy. But Peyton, a unique situation coming into this game, and that you get the call early in that second half. What was it like stepping out on the field in the situation you were in for the first time since November?
Well, it was a very different week, that's for sure. A week like I've never been through, as far as knowing I was going to have to suit up and be ready to play, but so you don't get as many repetitions. I guess all the quarterbacks that have played behind me all these years, I understand how they feel not getting many reps. So probably only fitting 18 years in that I got a taste of that. But, you know, I studied, I prepared, and saw Coach Kubiak at halftime, and he said, "Can you go if we need you?" And I said, "Yeah, I can go." But it was a funny first half. I mean, Brock got some horrible breaks, tip balls, and that fumble on the second half, and just decided to put me in there. But I felt like the offensive line blocked better when I was in there. Running backs ran a little harder, and they held on to the ball. So that was probably the biggest difference.
And you could feel the spark on the sideline with that first touchdown drive there that you led them to. Physically, how did you feel out here?
Well, I felt like I hadn't played in 7 weeks, which I've always felt that way about the NFL. It is not something you can just turn on. It's a grind every week, and you got to be in the grind. So I have been grinding in a different way. I've been in the indoor facility, kind of quarantined, throwing with Jordan Taylor, a.k.a. Sunshine. Remember that name next year. And, I tried to do what I could to get ready this week, and it was a funny game, and they put me in there. I'm just glad we got the win.
And the #1 seed and a first-round bye and home field. Congratulations. We'll see you in the playoffs.
Thank you very much, Tracy.
He doesn't get credit as the starter, of course, for the official win. He has 186 all-time, tied for the most with Brett Favre as you look at the AFC playoff picture one more time. But this win has to be about as satisfying as anything he's ever had. He turns 40 on March the 24th. We never knew for sure if he'd even take the field again in his remarkable career. And he goes from running the scout team in practice this week to now he will be running this team into the playoffs as the #1 seed in the AFC, trying to make a run at this milestone Super Bowl 50.
He was gracious in his words. You could see his face. The contentment, the excitement. The only other time I've seen him like that, Jim, was we were doing the game. That was in Kansas City in week 2 when he made that incredible comeback against them. So, like I said, Denver, they're a playoff Super Bowl caliber team. They're going to be tough to beat.
They'll have a week off. They won't play till divisional week. Wild card weekend's coming up next week. We'll see you then. The final score here, the Broncos 27, the Chargers 20. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes, then Undercover Boss, back-to-back episodes of Limitless. For Phil and Tracy, Lance Barrow, Mike Arnold, and all the crew, Jim Nance saying so long from Denver. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.